Mr. Chairman, welcome to Bloomberg TV and radio. I'd love to ask you, and we'll get to the situation in North Carolina and your expectations for what happens tonight. But broadly speaking, this is our opportunity to ask the chairman what he's hearing. I know you have people fanned out around the country looking at polls, looking at returns. Can you give us an update?
Yeah, what I would say is coming into Election Day, Republicans were really poised to have a fantastic day. When you look at voter registration numbers, you look at the early vote, the absentee ballot requests and returns, all of that put the Republicans in a great position to win. We had an outright lead in states like Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, and we substantially narrowed the leads that Democrats typically have going into Election Day in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. So you put all of that together with a robust turnout on Election Day. That makes us feel fairly comfortable that we're going to have a good night tonight. As I told the president, you're in a good position to win on Election Day. We just have to win on Election Day.
Well, and it becomes a question of how that win would happen, Mr. Chairman. What is the path you're most confident in at this hour? Does it run through the Sun Belt or the Rust Belt?
I think you need a combination of the two. Right now, what we're seeing is a good, solid lead for the Republicans in Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina. We feel comfortable that we will be able to carry the day with those states, given our traditional, Election Day patterns. And then we would need at that point in time to just pick off one of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. We have small but durable leads in the polls in all of those states. Very solid performance during the early vote period. So we're very anxious and ready to go for those three states.
Would love to hear from the aforementioned Mick Mulvaney, Mr. Whatley, talking about North Carolina. He just got back from the state and described his trip across North Carolina, what he was seeing on the ground. Let's listen.
I drove from Raleigh, North Carolina to Charlotte this weekend through the back roads, and I got to tell you, I think you're going to see North Carolina go for Kamala Harris. I think Donald Trump is going to walk to Georgia, a win in Georgia, but may well lose North Carolina.
As the former chair of the state's Republican Party, Michael Whatley, what do you say to that?
I feel very good about North Carolina. The first time in the history of the state, Republicans actually have a lead coming out of the early vote, absentee vote period. The polling looks very, very solid. North Carolina's always been a purple state. It's always been a battleground state. It's a very tight. It was our most narrow win in 2020 for President Trump. But we do like the numbers, and we have a great team on the ground there.
We heard from former President Trump earlier today after he voted in Florida, suggesting that so far he thinks this election has been fair. He said that as of roughly noon today, Mr. Chairman, and the question is going to be what we hear from Donald Trump later on this evening. Do you expect, regardless of whether the final tally is in or not, that Donald Trump will be declaring victory by the end of tonight?
We'll just have to wait and see what those results look like.
But you're confident that he won't prematurely declare victory?
I would just have to say we will wait and see what those results look like. If we have fair, accurate, secure, and transparent elections, then we would be glad to acknowledge those and move forward.
Understood. Let's get into that for a moment, because we had a bomb threat turned out to be, according to Secretary of State Raffensperger in Georgia, a Russian hoax. What are you hearing around the country, Mr. Chairman? Is there funny business we should know about, or has this been a fair and safe election so far?
So far, so good. We obviously are very concerned about what we saw down in Atlanta, and think that the authorities took all the proper precautions to clear that voting location, conduct a sweep, realize that it was okay, and then allow voters to go back in. We also have seen, usual types of issues where a polling location didn't open exactly on time, or a machine didn't work, or ran out of ink at a toner cartridge, or something along those lines, which are going to be resolved very quickly, and we'll be able to move on with the process.
Well, and of course, as we watch the voting process play out, voters are not just selecting who they'd like to be president of the United States, but other candidates as well, including those that will represent them in the House of Representatives and the Senate. Mr. Chairman, there is only so much a President Trump could do without the cooperation of Congress. So as you look from your perch as the chair of the Republican National Committee, how are you feeling about the odds of flipping the Senate and retaining the House?
We feel very good about the Senate. At this point in time, we're going to win Montana. We're going to win West Virginia. That will give the Republicans 51 seats. We also feel very, very good about Ohio. And then you look at a combination of states in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, as well as Arizona and Nevada. Depending on what those overall numbers look like, we could have a very, very good night for the Republicans. When it comes to the House, similarly, we are in a position to be able to expand our majority there. Right now, it's a 2-seat majority. And if this election night goes as we currently are tracking, then hopefully we'll be able to pick up 4, 5, 6 seats there.
Well, Mr. Chairman, Donald Trump's been talking about you. He brought you up at a rally in North Carolina. Considering the stakes in this election, he said you better win. I want to get this right. You better win or you won't be able to come back here. He doesn't win. He says he won't be at RNC and he will no longer be in North Carolina. He'll be looking for a job. I know that there's probably some joking going on there, Mr. Chairman, but what kind of pressure are you feeling today?
What I feel right now is cautious optimism. We are very upbeat about where we are. The infrastructure that we have, the campaign staff, the RNC staff have worked seamlessly together. President Trump has been out there in every single battleground state multiple times over the course of the last several weeks. We had 3 events on Friday, 3 events on Saturday, 3 events on Sunday, and 4 events yesterday. And so nobody is outworking the president. We feel very good about where we are coming into Election Day. And right now, we're very happy with what we're seeing on the ground.